All right, first and foremost, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Riley. I wanted to create this YouTube channel to kind of talk about mental health. And you guys see it in the name, Static Minds. I think anybody that deals with mental health, you guys know that mental health makes our minds feel like it's static, like our minds are constantly going 1,000 miles per hour. And, depending on all the mental illnesses that you guys deal with, disorders, whatever, it can affect your brain in a lot of different ways. And I wanted to come on here and kind of talk to you guys. I wanted to make this channel, and another thing that I wanted to bring up first is, in any of these videos, I'm going to be rambling a lot. I talk a lot. I'm going to be going from one thing to the next. I might think of something when I'm talking about one thing or another, and you guys are probably going to be thinking, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, he's going from one thing to the next. But if you guys are also people that deal with mental health, I feel like you guys probably understand where I'm coming from, or at least a little bit, and kind of just realize how certain things affect you, and everyday things, and et cetera, and how, like I said, our minds, the static minds, go 1,000 miles per hour. So we're going to be bouncing around from topic to topic. This is going to be an unfiltered channel. I'm going to be on here talking about some of the maybe darkest thoughts dealing with mental health, or some of the realest conversations. And I would like you guys to be a part of it too, whether it's in the comments or maybe eventually getting like a Discord channel going to kind of talk about, or just kind of like group together and just to let each other know that we're not alone. Just kind of give each other support. One thing that I wanted to do with this, and another thing I wanted to mention quick before we get into too many topics, is the sound quality. I plan to get one of those little the little microphones that you like clip to your shirt, that you guys see people using all the time now. I plan to get one of them this week, so probably in the next video, you guys will be able to hear me a lot better, and it'll sound a lot more fluent, and it'll sound more like a professional video as opposed to just the phone microphone right now. But I did kind of want to, I was going to wait and kind of wait until that comes in and just kind of go from there. But I was like, you know what, I can't wait. I really want to talk about stuff right now. Like I said, we're gonna touch on a lot of different topics on this channel. I really want to kind of dive deep into my own feelings, your guys' feelings, everyday experiences, maybe like tips and tricks, even though I'm not very good with tips on certain things myself. So maybe it's more of like asking you guys for tips on how you guys deal with certain things, or if you guys have certain questions, feel free to ask down below, because I want this to get somewhere. I've thought of before, is this channel going to be like a podcast type of thing? Is this channel going to be like just a video diary type of thing? And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to think too deep into it. I just want to turn on the camera and just talk. And I'm not going to think too deep into it. I'm not going to think of it as like a job. I'm not going to think of it as like anything, because what has hurt me before, and this could go into anything, whether it's what I try to set my mind to, effort into certain things, or some of you guys, if you guys are just tuning in for the first time and have never met me before, never seen me on anything before, I had streamed on Twitch for the last few years. I have tried different content venues with YouTube and other social media platforms. Twitch, obviously, like I said, was a big one the last few years. And one of the biggest things for me was really trying to focus on not the negative stuff, like using those platforms as a way to escape, and escaping from the mental, or bringing people together to kind of escape from our everyday battles or everyday stuff. And it really did work for a long time, and it worked for me too, because like I said, I've been dealing with mental health for years. I honestly look back, and it's hard for me to remember a time where mental health didn't affect me, at least to some extent. And I think part of that was high school. I think part of that was the area I grew up in. I think part of that was social media. I think, but also a big part of it is genetics. A lot of mental health problems do run in my family, and unfortunately, it has trickled down to me. But like I said, I want to get that microphone and be able to give you guys a better quality type of thing. I can picture, and kind of what I wanted to do is get it to the point where you guys can listen to these videos, whether you're driving or maybe going to sleep at night, or if you guys are busy doing something else, like maybe getting ready for the day or whatever, you guys can put on this stuff, because that's kind of what I do. I use stuff as a distraction every single day. I can't get throughout my day unless I'm distracted pretty much 24/7. Whether that's watching YouTube videos. I'm a big sucker for podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time. I play video games pretty much constantly. When I was on Twitch and everything and other social media platforms, constantly just being a part of something and trying to be happy, I guess. And like I said, I really used that as a distraction, and I was really happy that other people were distracted throughout their day by tuning into my stream. And like I said, I always looked at my streams as a way to escape from stuff for myself, but for everybody else, obviously, too. And I think anybody that deals with mental health knows the escape distraction type of thing, where if your mind is not distracted at any moment, it can go into a deep spiral of thoughts. It can go into a deep spiral of emotions and feelings, whatever. And Twitch was a really good way to kind of escape from stuff and focus on the positives. Well, when the negatives outweigh the positives, and you're really, really trying to push down those negatives and bring out those positives, it is very difficult. And I have not streamed on Twitch for a little while now, and as much as I would love to get back into it, I think what I know I need to do now is really face head on my feelings and things that I've tried to push away over the last few years. My emotions, my feelings, how I try to escape from things. If I'm sitting there on Twitch spending 5, 6, 7 hours a day trying to escape from things, it's very tough, because during that time you're pushing away every negative thought, every negative feeling, and trying to, in a sense, mask that stuff and mask those feelings for the positive side of you, which I always wanted. I wanted that positive side to come out, because it's such a small percentage of me. It's such a small percentage of my mind. And if I could just help that take over the rest of my mind and, neutralize the negativity, I thought that it could grow into, building confidence and building more into how I feel and how I act, or anything really, whether it's Twitch, whether it's just in general and in day-to-day life. Hope you guys can hear me well. I don't want this stuff to be cut up too much, but I am filming on my phone, and camera stuff, audio stuff, whatever. There's probably going to be some problems and stuff for the first maybe few videos as I kind of get used to doing some of this stuff. So bear with me, bear with the process, I guess. Kind of what I was talking about before, though, before any of this stuff kind of messed up, was, God damn, it's bright. This light is so bright in here. Hold up. I got one of these, oh my. I got one of these, it's kind of like a TikTok thing, I guess. See how low it can get. I don't know how bright I want it, but we'll try it at this for now. I got one of these, like, it's like one of those TikTok lights that people use for like the background of like TikTok videos and stuff. Honestly, it works well for something like this. I was thinking, you know what, if I'm going to do this, this is going to work perfectly for this. And I want to get that microphone too, of course, but kind of what I was going back to with, you know, like the negative thoughts and trying to neutralize that with doing everyday things and realizing that the negative thoughts are going to continue to grow when you're trying to push them away. And eventually that's going to completely diminish all those positive thoughts that you kind of want to bring forward by, like I said, just growing. And if you spend time out of your day masking or, pushing those negative thoughts to the side the best possible way you can, at the end of the day, or when you get the time to relax and know that whatever you're feeling is okay to put out there, that's when, everything really hits you. And that would be like at late at night for me, or super early in the morning when I would never want to wake up, because I've always hated mornings. Dating back to school, I have always been a person that hates mornings. I think a lot of it is anxiety, knowing that I grew up so many years. I feel like I hear a dog. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but I feel like some of it was, like I said, growing up, going through school, waking up every single morning, around like 6:30, 6:45 in the morning, and knowing that I was going to school for the day, knowing that I was going to a place that I absolutely despised. And I think a lot of you guys probably feel the same way. I think that school was one of the places that generated a lot of original anxiety and original mental health problems for me. I did not enjoy school. Was not a very good student. And looking back now, I realize a few months ago I was diagnosed with ADHD. And being diagnosed at 26, or I guess 25 at the time, was it's a bit of a shock, and it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. I've still been dealing with, kind of accepting that over the last few months, and like looking back at so many things in my life and so many experiences and realizing, wow, that could have probably been so different if I had knew that I was dealing with ADHD, or maybe I could have asked for help in this certain situation, or maybe I wouldn't have steered away from this and I could have taken it head on, knowing that I have ADHD, or knowing that I deal with these other things. School is one of those things. Looking back, focus was always something, and I think anybody that has ADHD, if you've had it your entire life, you're never going to know that you struggle with focus, because you've never had a time where you focused. You know what I mean? Like, I think I feel that way with everything, medications, certain things, like just day-to-day life. Like, if you deal with something forever, you're never going to know the positive side of that, to even know that you're dealing with the negative. You know what I mean? Like with ADHD, like I said, with focusing, like I went through my entire childhood, my entire high school years, my entire teenage years, thinking that everybody focused the same way I did, because I didn't know that I wasn't focusing the same way other people were. You know what I mean? Like, and now that I look back, I'm like, wow, okay. Like, so my problems with sitting in class and having no idea what the teacher is saying wasn't me not listening, and it was more of like, I mentally can't listen. Like, I literally can't. Like, the chemicals in my brain will not line up for me to be able to listen to what they're saying right now. And obviously that reflected on my grades. My grades through high school were not good. And like I said, I think a lot of you guys kind of get where I'm saying with, you know, not knowing the positive side of things. And like I said, I've noticed that with medications and certain medications that I've tried to take over the course of my life for, whether it's been anxiety disorder, depression, now ADHD medication, any other like mood stabilizers, anything like that. Because my emotions fluctuate so much, and because our emotions fluctuate so much, we may not be able to realize when they're in a good state because we're so used to them being bad. And that's what I've been trying to do over the last few months, ever since, you know, being diagnosed with more stuff than what I was originally diagnosed with. So quick backstory, 2014, I was 14 years old. I was originally diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Fast forward now, 12 years later, I've been recently diagnosed with ADHD, borderline personality disorder, that from my understanding has linkage to schizoid personality disorder. So I have a lot of things on top of each other and things that I've been really trying to process over the last few months. And it's been a bit of a tough road. But all these new medications that I've been on recently, I've been trying my absolute best to see the things that I do on a day-to-day and think, would I have done that 8 months ago? Would I have felt that way in this situation 8 months ago? And it's so tough because there's times where I might feel a certain way in a certain situation, but it's not always a good way. Like, it's not always a good feeling. You know what I mean? Like you might feel a certain way doing something small, whether it's like task management or task initiation or stuff like that. I gotta roll up my window. We got a moth in here, guys. We got a moth. You guys are gonna see it here in a second, probably. I know this light is probably going to garner the moths to come in here, but I don't know if you guys have seen it all, but there, I think you guys saw it there. I got to let him out. Hold up. Where is he at here? But yeah, kind of like I was saying, like with the task management and stuff like that, it is so tough to kind of really realize, you know, I feel different than what I would have like 8 months ago, because in those situations you feel different every single time. And I've realized that is kind of part of like the BPD, like the borderline personality disorder, is every little situation you feel different and your mood is constantly changing and your emotions are constantly changing, and your emotions are so much stronger in certain situations. And if you feel different every single time you do something, you're not going to feel that same way every single time you do that. Like, I might feel, there's times where I always struggle to go into a gas station. I always struggle to go through a drive-through. I always struggle to go into a store. I always struggle to talk to people in general. Especially recently, I feel like I've really developed kind of like a fear of talking and kind of like just expressing my voice in a way, or kind of like a fear of I don't know, just like a fear of, I guess, my voice, or I guess like talking in front of people, not in front of people, but like talking, like, I don't know how to exactly explain it. And I think you guys are going to realize this over the course of all these videos. It's going to be very tough for me to explain stuff because I'm trying to learn stuff throughout my life as well. And I think that's part of what this channel I want it to be, is just really learning things and kind of using it as a way to kind of learn things about myself, learn things about you guys. You guys can maybe learn things about yourself too. Obviously realize that we're all not alone in all of these things. But yeah, kind of going back to what I was saying, where I struggle to go into gas stations or go through drive-thrus or go into stores. There might be certain days where I might feel a certain way going into a store as opposed to the way I did yesterday. And that could be an influx of so many little different things, whether this certain vehicle is in the driveway and I know that I get scared that, maybe I parked too close to that car, or I don't want to park too close to that car because what if there's like 4 people trying to get out of this vehicle, or like what if there's people that are coming out and they need to get in their vehicle. And then I often think, like, what happens if I end up leaving my vehicle and I don't know, maybe I forget my card in my car, or I forget my phone, or I gotta check my service to make sure that I have service, because God only knows what could happen in this store. What if something terrible happens, like, I don't know, somebody has a weapon in there or something, and I gotta contact somebody. I gotta make sure I have my phone on me. Or what if something bad happens in the parking lot? And then even like down to the little things, like, are my pants pulled up? Or physical things like, do I have something in my beard? And I think those are normal things that everybody checks for that type of stuff. But when you're super hyperactive and that emotion is enhanced by like 100 times, now that I realize is due to this BPD, it becomes very difficult. And it steers you away from doing the things that you want to do, and doing certain things like going into a store. And then, like I said, I'm not going to be able to realize when I feel any better, because every single time is different. It always, it changes based off of everything, whether it's the environment, whether it's people, whether it's anything, how I'm feeling that day, the way I woke up, the way the last hour had went, the time of the day, every little thing. Like, I've noticed how I feel different in the afternoons, and there always has to be like this little window of time where I can do each individual thing. And personally, I like going to the store in the early afternoon, whether that's like between 12 to 1 or like 1 to 1:30. If I ever go to the store, that's the time that I feel like I feel the most okay. Now, not every day is it going to feel that way. There's been times where it's like, between 5 and 6, or even sometimes later than that if I want to make a little bit of a trip, or sometimes if it's before 12 o'clock. There's certain times where, like I said, the little window, and I think you guys are probably going to know what I'm talking about, especially if you guys deal with, now that I know, is ADHD, where it's like the task initiation and from my understanding, putting chemicals together in your brain to, initiate certain movements, whether it's with your body or like just not procrastinating. And that could be the smallest little thing, even if, like, say it's like 1 o'clock and I come out to my vehicle to go down to the store, and then all of a sudden it's I'm sitting in my vehicle and I'm waiting to start the car. And there's been times where I will come out and I will start my vehicle, and I'm going to go down to the store, obviously, like I said, and I go to start my car and I don't start the car, and I just sit here. And then that little window shrinks and it shrinks and then it goes away. And then I'm out of time. I don't go to the store. So I go back in the house and I'm like, I beat myself up about that stuff. And that, I think, is what, where the depression comes into a lot of things, is you beat yourself up over the way you feel about things, and you beat yourself up over the way your emotions handle certain stuff, or you beat yourself up over the way that, like I said, you feel in certain situations. But also, a lot of my life, I've always looked at, I've beat myself up a lot about looking at the way that I feel from certain things and thinking, everybody feels the same way that I feel. Or I wonder if everybody feels the same way I feel. And are they just better at dealing with it than I am? And now it's been something that I've been really trying to just learn and teach myself, where realizing like, you know what, I apparently, us with neurodivergent brains, us with these disorders, illnesses, whatever, deal with things on a heightened level compared to a neurotypical brain, or quote unquote a normal person, to what we think. Now I hate using that term, and I know that all of us use that and we all beat ourselves up about it, and we're like, oh, we're not normal, we're, whatever. I hate using that term because although I use it a lot, and I like I said, I beat myself up about it, there's no such thing as normal. That is a big thing. There's no such thing as normal. I wish that we could all sit here and kind of rewire our brain to realize that there's no such thing as normal, because everybody is different. And if we were all normal and the same, then this world would be so boring. There would be, it would not be the world that it is today. But yeah, like I said, I have always kind of compared myself to other people. And like I said, certain situations I would think, you know what, does this person feel the same way too? Are they just better at maybe masking it or dealing with it as opposed to I am? Are they just better at pushing it to the side? Are they better than me at just anything like that, really? I know that I've been kind of, I feel like this entire video I've just been going from one thing to the next. And I know I opened up and I wanted to warn you guys, like, I'm going to be going from one thing to the next this entire video. But anyways, I really want this YouTube channel to just be a spot where I can face feelings head on and share it with you guys in a way of letting other people into my feelings and making sure other people know that their feelings are okay and you guys are not alone. You don't even have to have a neurotypical brain. You don't even have to be diagnosed with any of these disorders. You don't even have to even think that you have any of these things to feel certain ways and to maybe be watching this video. And I just want you guys to know that the way you guys are feeling is okay, and you guys are not alone. And that's what I really want to preach in this channel, is just to make sure you guys know that you guys are not alone. The light just turned off again, so I guess it's probably just telling me to probably just wrap this one up. Like I said, the next few videos are probably going to be at least a little bit better quality. I just really wanted to not wait and kind of just be on here and talk to you guys about stuff. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Subscribe if you guys want to. I would like to be able to maybe grow this and just kind of reach out to people, and like I said, just face my feelings head on. What I've really done over the last so many years is try to push my feelings away, because I thought that I shouldn't feel that way, and I don't want to feel that way. So I thought the only way that I could get by it is maybe pushing it aside. And I realize now that the way I feel is maybe not necessarily okay, but it's something that I feel like I have to embrace. And I think this is going to be part of it, is just being on here. And I've never been somebody that has been good at expressing my feelings or finding the right words to express them. But I'm hoping that maybe this channel can kind of get that, and maybe reach out to some of you guys and be able to help you guys or inspire you guys to talk about mental health, or express your own feelings in a certain way, or, the comment section is there. I want you guys to be able to comment stuff. There will probably be links in the description down below for certain things, maybe phone numbers, websites, whatever that I know of that might be able to help you guys, or, and like I said, I want to be able to create a Discord channel, hopefully in the future, where we can just kind of, maybe group together and just kind of be there for each other. And just like I said, really preach that we're not alone. And yeah, so I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I know this was a bit of a long video, but The next one hopefully will be a little bit better quality too. So I appreciate you guys so much, and please take care.